You're listening to Thunder and Lightning on SuperTalk Mississippi, covering Mississippi State sports like nobody else. With Sports Talk Mississippi's Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk of On3 Sports. Now get ready for Thunder and Lightning.
This is Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk here with you on a Friday morning. Thanks for joining us and starting your weekend with us here at supertalk.fm or wherever it is that you get podcasts from. We appreciate you guys out there, our great listeners, especially our servicemen and women out there taking care of us. I want to thank our sponsors over at Strange Brew Coffee House and Churn and Spoon Ice Cream. Start your day the right way with a trip to the drive-thru over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville or at Brupolo over in Tupelo. Be a little weird, Robbie, if Brupolo was an oil city.
That would be a little weird. Sounds like something that should probably be in Texas.
I mean, has anybody drilled an oil city? We need to find out. We might be sitting on some untapped billions there. I
can't imagine any other reason that place would be called Oil City.
So,
other than the fact that there's some oil in there somewhere.
You would think. I did something today at Strange.
Some black gold or some Texas crude. Texas tea. What's the bubbling crude?
Bubbling crude, yeah. I did something today at Strange Brew I've never done. Ordered a coffee.
Oh.
Yeah, I was with my mom, and she was like, can we stop and get a coffee? And I was like, yeah, sure. And so I took her to Strange Brew. She had never been. And she was like, do they have hamburgers? It's like, this isn't a restaurant. Let me some coffee out.
Well, everywhere you take her has good hamburgers. The older brothers, she loves that.
Yeah.
So what kind of coffee did you get?
It could have been more basic. I got the house blend with cream and sugar, and she was like, "Thank you," and she's like, "Oh, this is good."
One thing we don't ever really talk about is the fact that you can go in there and actually buy ground coffee.
Yeah.
Which is what I did for my wife. I bought my wife a espresso machine for Christmas.
Yeah.
First thing I did was, first of all, I went to Strange Brew and I got a gift card for her because I knew she would want to pick up some coffee every now and then. And then I got some espresso mix. But a lot of people like the blueberry cobbler coffee. Mm-hmm. I think they have the hot chocolate as well, and things like that. So, I mean, we don't talk about that enough. They got the pods. Mm-hmm. That you can go put it in your Keurig.
We talk about it when we tell people, hey, you can go to strangebrewcoffeehouse.com and
I know, but specifically,
specifically,
I feel like we pass up the stuff. It's not just just walking in there. Although I love walking in there and sometimes seeing our name on the cork board where we can get our own coffee and things like that. But there are some really cool things when you go in there and buy. They got some cool mugs in there. I think maybe some hats and stickers, stuff like that. So it's a fun thing to do. Go in there and check out some things.
Also got a couple of M's strawberry lemonade freshers for my daughter and her friend.
So
it's a good day at Strange Brew. You can have one too. Mississippi Beef Council wants to remind you that beef, it is what's for dinner. If you're cooking out this weekend, nothing beats the sizzle of beef on the grill. I am cooking out this weekend. Think about it, Robbie. I was thinking about this today. Last weekend, I cooked out, but not at home, right? Because we were at the baseball game.
It was very good.
Yeah. The weekend before that, Mississippi State, I had the wedding. I was at that wedding, so I couldn't cook out that weekend. Weekend before that, State played LSU on Saturday. Couldn't cook out, right? Had baseball as well. The weekend before that was State had baseball at home and had basketball at home as well. I'm pretty sure. And then that was the week I went out of town. I went to Birmingham. Weekend before that was the Ole Miss game in Oxford, what I went to, and then we had baseball. So I haven't been able to cook out in a long time. I'm excited to do it this weekend.
Yeah, you can do it now.
I'm gonna throw some beef on the grill. I think I'm gonna do it. I think it's Mississippi pot roast time, Robbie.
Oof.
I think it's time. It's been a while.
I've turned a few of my friends onto the pot roast.
It's so good.
I think people have just kind of missed this whole thing. Yeah, the whole Mississippi pot roast thing.
Get on board with that.
And when they do it, they cannot go back to the regular pot roast. Although a regular pot roast is fantastic.
Yeah.
The Mississippi pot roast is the way to go.
So, beef, it's what's for dinner, thanks to our friends at the Mississippi Beef Council.
Although I will say, those little beef short ribs you did were magnifico.
They were really good. I was pleased with how everything came out, so that's good.
I wish I had some of those right now.
Yeah. I mean, you go to any local Korean barbecue place there in Raleigh, they'll hook you up. Not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same. I understand. Mine was cooked with love. So.
I did have some spicy Korean steak or something last night with some noodles.
Ooh, that sounds good. That's my kind of food. I love
It's pretty good.
All right. College Corner, collegecornerstore.com is the place to find the maroon and white merchandise you're looking for. You are looking for it. You need new gear with the new logos. It's there at College Corner. 2 locations to serve you in the Jackson area. Original by Fleet Feet, flowed by the Half Shell. Shop online at collegecornerstore.com. Whatever you're looking for, maroon and white, you can find it at College Corner. Restaurant Tyler, Starkville's flagship restaurant for lunch, for dinner, for Sunday brunch, the best meal in town. Always going to be at Restaurant Tyler. I love a trip to Restaurant Tyler. If you're going to be in Starkville around lunchtime, you need to get to Restaurant Tyler. It's just the best. It is the best blue plate in the city of Starkville. It's probably the best in the state of Mississippi. I'll put it up against anybody. So if you want to have a great meal today, you just need to go to Restaurant Tyler. Priority One Bank, 16 locations to serve you throughout central Mississippi. Let PriorityOneBank.com be your guide and show you not only where they're located, they're going to show you how they're going to help you invest, manage your money, and prepare for the future. Now more than ever, when you have questions about your money, you deserve answers on your schedule, not somebody else's. You deserve to be able to talk to somebody who knows you, not just your account number. You need to talk to the good folks at Priority One Bank to get a level of service that you deserve. Let Priority One Bank make you their priority. Robbie Faulk coming to us live from the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. I would imagine.
Woo!
Is that a relatively new arena?
I'm not sure how old it is, but yeah, it seems to be. It seems to be pretty.
We don't think that Barry
current.
Windham and Arn Anderson spilled blood on the floor of this particular arena.
No.
Okay.
This is very much relatively new. They have the football stadium, NC State's football stadium, is like right here. It's very convenient, but it's when you're pulling in, it's almost like kind of like a plaza. Like I'm pulling into the technology park at Mississippi State, and then all of a sudden, there's an ACC football stadium and basketball stadium. The stadium's very nice. It's very convenient.
This is where NC State plays?
Yes.
Okay.
The men. The women play on campus.
Okay.
The men play
I
here.
always remember NC State's had like an intimate arena.
Yeah.
So now they're in a big
the women play at that arena.
I got you.
So and they're hosting the first 2 rounds, obviously this weekend. Former Mississippi State player Madison Hayes over at NC State.
Yeah.
But
right.
very, very nice arena. Very convenient. Like I said, more convenient than I thought Charlotte last year. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And we've had a chance while we're doing some work to watch some of these NCAA games, and Creighton that was a team I did not.
They dominated. I wish I had picked them.
I did not want Mississippi State to play them. That would have been an absolute horrific matchup, and they're proving just how bad the ACC was this year.
High Point was making it interesting here with Purdue for a second, but Purdue's pushed it back out to 10, so we'll see where that goes.
And Purdue's probably having, I know they're sitting the 16, so they probably feel a little more safe with this.
We're fine, yeah.
But they were probably having some. Our friend Robbie Donahoe was probably having some flashbacks for a second.
Robbie Donahoe, first round of the NCAA tournament as a Purdue fan, he probably just sits there just like this. He's just
Please God.
You could put a lump of coal in his butt and it would come back a diamond. So much pressure.
They almost pulled the Virginia last year and went from losing to the 16 to win a national championship.
They were. All right. Mississippi State's tournament odyssey begins later today as you're listening. 11:15 Central Time. Where Robbie is, it'll be 12:15. Mississippi State versus Baylor. I have been so back and forth on this game, Robbie. I can't even begin to tell you. It literally, as the wind blows, I change my mind about who I think is going to win this game. As I'm sitting here right now, we're kind of doing 3 Ps, but we may put the prediction first. I'm kind of leaning towards State right this second. Now, yesterday I was more leaning towards Baylor. Today it's more State. I know by tip-off, you know me, right? You know me pretty well. You know that by tip-off, I will have convinced myself Baylor is going to win by 90. First,
you go the
first 3-pointer that goes in, Robbie, I'm just going to send you a text. It just says ball game. I'm just going to send it to you.
You go the opposite way. See, a lot of times
people get confident.
Fans get more confident as the game
Not me. I think I'm kind of confident.
I think I kind of lean that direction too with you.
Yeah.
But a couple of their media has come up to me today asking me my thoughts on it. They're kind of the same way. I think both sides are not super confident from a fan and media perspective. Like that, I think people just don't really know what to expect in this, because both of these teams have been similar in that you don't know which team's going to show up. You know, they might be really hot or they might be really cold. They're very similar. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what to expect either. I really don't know what's going to happen in this game. I think they're two evenly matched teams. You know, I was told by some of the Baylor guys that they felt like Mississippi State was bigger than they were. So that's kind of the chess match here is like, you know, what happens in the matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, their big guy has been hurt a good portion of the year, and so they're a little worried about the physicality of Mississippi State. So that's another reason why I think State, maybe Keyshawn Murphy, Michael Nwoko, and then Cam Matthews can get down low and get some points. If they can put Norchad Omie into foul trouble, as you learned when we listened to our interview with Ashley Hodge the other day, Baylor doesn't really have another guy. You know, if Nwoko gets into early foul trouble with State, you can go over to Keyshawn and you're fine there. They don't have another guy like that they trust down low. So that's another reason I'm going that. And I'm going to go back to something I said last year, and I really do believe it. Josh Hubbard is a player that March can embrace, right? He's the kind of guy, the undersized guard who just makes three-pointers. That's a March story. Every year there's a guy like that. Why can't it be Hubbard? Why can't Hubbard come out in this game and have one of his best games as a Mississippi State Bulldog? I've talked myself into that a little bit. How is it going to happen? Well, I want to go back to something I talked about yesterday. We'll make it the Sign this week. The Sign is brought to you by our friends over at Pip Printing and Signs, who want to remind you that, you know, when you are a business owner, you need printing to deliver your message. And if you can't get that done, then, you know, there's no point in being a business owner. You need someone who can help you get that message out there. That person is our friend Camden Baker at Pip Printing and Signs. 30 years of experience helping businesses just like you. Just like I'm about to point out the sign for Mississippi State to beat Baylor, they can point out a sign and put together a package for you that's going to get your business going. Call Cam at 601-499-5216. When you need printing, call Pip today. The Sign is what I said yesterday. Ormier, Edgecombe, those guys get their points. Nobody cares, right? Can State keep the role players as role players? Can State keep the guys who score 8, 9 points a game from scoring 22, 23, 25 points in a game? If State does that, they will win. If they hold Baylor's players, not just holding Baylor to their average, but holding Baylor's players to their averages, they're going to win. What is that going to entail? It's going to entail Hubbard, because it's going to be a guard. If somebody goes loose in this game, you know it's going to be a guard, somebody shooting three-pointers. Hubbard, Harris, Melendez, Kugel have to play and play well in this game. I don't need all four of them to play well, but I need at least 2 and preferably 3. And if that happens, State's going to win.
Yeah, I think you're correct. You have to limit what they do outside of their big 3, I would say. And then Mississippi State needs to have some other players step up. I did a notebook a while ago in which I mentioned, like, you need good Riley Kugel to show up here. You need Riley Kugel to get you 12, 15 points. It doesn't have to be that he scores, 25 in this game, but I think you need him to score 12 to 15 and shoot, 4 of 8 from the field or something, and not turning the ball over, defending. Mm-hmm. We know we're probably going to see 18 to 20 points plus for Josh Hubbard. Yeah, we're probably going to see 15 to 18, maybe 12 to 18. I guess I would say it'd probably be more accurate with Keyshawn Murphy with 8 rebounds plus. Those two, you know what you're getting. Can R.J. Melendez give you 10 to 15? Can Riley Kugel give you 10 to 15? Can you get some really good minutes from Sean Jones offensively because he's going to play well defensively? So you need to limit what they do from their role players, and you need to extend your production from your role players. That's really been Mississippi State's success this year. When their offense has been, really good this year, when they're scoring 80 to 85 points or whatever, they've got 6 people in double digits. That needs to happen, and then they need to play really good defense. And they do that, and they've got a tournament win. And, I look at this tournament like, if you win tomorrow, anything else is gravy with Mississippi State.
Yeah, you're playing Duke.
if you lose by 30 to Duke, like I know people would be upset about it, but it's not one of those end of the world deals for this team. I think coming into this season, I said Mississippi State needs to improve their footing and getting firmly into the NCAA tournament, and they need to win an NCAA tournament game. This is building. This is what it looks like at a program when you're building things. And for Mississippi State, I think you take a step forward if you win a game tomorrow. And from there, let's see what happens. We'll see how it shakes out. But this needs to be a win for Mississippi State. They really need to get one here on Friday to feel good about themselves moving forward as a program.
I like how you threw they got to play really good defense, and they're like, that has any chance of happening. That's
I know.
not happening. It's just you just threw it in there.
Okay, let's say, can they keep Baylor around 70?
Well, let's do this. 70s. I was going to say this. If I say over under,
That's what
they average 76.
Baylor averages 76.
So if I tell you that Baylor is at 77, did State win or lose?
I think they can win.
I
think they win that. I think they can win that game 83-77 or so.
I think 80 is like the cutoff line. And even not that they can't score 80, but once it gets into the 80s and you start going back and forth, that's when three-pointers start falling. And that's the issue. The other stat, I know State had gotten away from it the past couple of games. They've lost some games where they didn't give up 10. But if they do give up 10, they're going to lose. 10 three-pointers. They are going to lose.
Yes. So they have not. Outside of Pine Bluff and then Ole Miss, which was a back-and-forth affair, they have not won a game where they've given up 10 made threes. So that is an absolute – that's one of the things that you can't compromise on. And with Baylor, they're an okay three-point shooting team, but I wouldn't say that's one of their strengths by any means. It's not a run and gun kind of offense. So I think that it's doable to hold them under 10. It's a must at this point.
And talking to their people, they're not, even though their numbers are good, I feel like they have really big games and really bad games. And so it kind of balances. It's not like every game they're shooting well. They have big games and they have bad games, and it balances out in the wash there. So
it's kind of what happens with State. They shoot it a little better than MSU, but I don't think they've been shooting extremely well here of late.
Yeah. These two teams, they're not mirror images of each other, but they are similar. And so it's going to be, can State find a way to just make – it's been the same thing all year. It's just like make one or two more shots. You don't have to shoot 65%, but you got to shoot one or two shots better. And if you can do that, they're going to have a great chance to win. Don't pick Josh Hubbard. Give me a playmaker for this one.
My playmaker is Keyshawn Murphy.
Okay.
Because I feel like that there's going to be an internal battle down there. They have a really good post player that has been averaging double figures. If he is able to win that battle, if he's able to get the rebounds and he's able to score inside, I think that neutralizes a lot of what Baylor does. Because they have an inside-out game with him. They can get it inside to him. They kind of work through him offensively, and he opens up a lot of things for players on the outside. And I imagine State's going to do a lot of doubling in the post with him. So somebody's going to have to close really well or switch or whatever to make sure that they're not beating you from the outside. But I think he's probably going to be the difference. And that means that Keyshawn Murphy needs to be really, really good. And I think he's ready for that challenge. This is a guy that has scored, I think, 2 points in the NCAA tournament his first 2 years. He played 17 minutes last year. He was 0 for 5 from the field. He missed three three-pointers.
Yeah.
He's a completely different player, and you're going to see that tomorrow. You're going to see a completely different player than what you've seen the last 2 years. He's not timid. He's very much a guy that is going to take initiative, and when he gets the ball in his hands, State works through him a lot. When he comes in the game, he's passing it out. He's getting offensive rebounds. He's scoring off the dribble. He's hitting from mid-range. He's kind of become a piece that State's worked inside out with. So I think he's going to be huge on Friday for State, whether they win or lose. I wouldn't say they're live and die by him, but I think Keyshawn's going to be a huge piece of it.
My guy is Cam Matthews. That's my playmaker for this one. I talked about yesterday. He knows that the clock is ticking, right? He knows that every game, this could be the last time he puts on that uniform. I think he wants to go out with a bang. I think he desperately wants to get to that matchup with Duke and try to have his say with Cooper Flagg. But to do that, you've got to get through this Baylor team. They match the players they have that are dangerous to me, Ormier and Edgecombe. Those are both guys Cam Matthews can match up with. If Ormier wants to bang down low with Matthews, he can do that. And if Edgecombe wants to play out on the perimeter, Cam can guard out there as well. So Cam Matthews defensively is going to be big. And then can he be the guy that gives you that? I mean, it doesn't have to be crazy, right? 8 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 turnover. That's a winning line for Mississippi State from Cam Matthews. So if he can deliver that, I feel pretty confident that Mississippi State can advance to the second round of the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2008. That Duke game will just be what it is if that's what it comes to for Mississippi State. You know, you play the term free shot gets thrown around. Doesn't get any freer than playing the 1 seed in the second round when nobody's got any expectations of you.
And that's who they matched up with the not the season before, but the tournament before that they were in 2005. They played Duke in the second round. So.
Yeah, and had a chance to win that game. And
they were in that ball game, and that was a Duke team that had a lot of matchups where you were wondering who's going to guard who. I think Winston Frazier was matched up with J.J. Redick, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's correct.
It was a really good. I thought State really played well in that game. I'm very interested in the matchups tomorrow with State and Baylor. Who's got Edgecombe? Who's got Amore? I think that I kind of think R.J. Melendez probably matches up with Edgecombe,
possibly,
and maybe Sean Jones when he comes off the bench. I just don't think I don't think Josh Hubbard is a good matchup.
No, he needs to be on Rob Young.
On Robert, yeah. That's what I think is probably going to happen. And then Keyshawn probably matches up. Keyshawn or Cam probably in the post.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting. I'm interested to see the chess match too between Scott Drew and Chris Jans. I think this is going to be a well-coached game. And we talked about, like Chris Jans in this matchup, and he's gone up against some really good coaches over the years in this tournament and has won and has been in position to win. So I don't think this is one of those deals where he's going to be overwhelmed in that area at all either.
No, I agree. I agree with you 100%. What's your prediction?
I feel better about this game than I did last year. I think there's some comparisons to be made between Michigan State and Baylor, but I think Michigan State last year was a worse matchup for Mississippi State than this year's Baylor team. So I think State's going to win this game. I really do. This is a team that has 4 or 5 players that have been here before. A few of them have been here now 3 times. So it's not one of those deals where you're in a different kind of environment. They understand what to expect. So I got State winning this ball game. I'm going to say what I said earlier. I think 83-77, something like that. It's a close game throughout, but State's able to hit some free throws down the stretch and win this by a couple possessions there late.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think State wins a close one. I think Hubbard has a big day, and I think State's going to advance. I'm going to go 81-75. It's going to be my final score. A close game, but I think State's going to pull it out. I'm going to buy in. That being said, if you talk to me tomorrow about 11-13, I will have convinced myself. I'll be like, they'll lose by 20. So
yes.
Just
within the first 5 minutes, you'll be talking about how much you hate watching this team play.
I do hate watching this team play. I will hate them regardless.
Sick of this.
I can't. This team
has had enough.
They give me agita. So, all right, let's move into baseball. It's brought to you by our friends over at Two Brothers Smoked Meats, the home of the pork rind nachos. We haven't talked about some nachos in so long. I may have to go get some.
Daddy Deets. We have not done the AC/DC gimmick.
We have not. We haven't thrown that in there in a while. We need to do that. But it's the home of so many great things. It's not just barbecue. It's smoked Southern soul food. And, of course, the older brother, if you're craving a fancy sandwich, there's no other place in town to get one. I'll just go ahead and tell you that. I love the older brother. Also now open for dinner, and they have a fantastic dinner menu with some great options, stuff you can't find anywhere else. I mean, it's some really, really good, delicious meals to be had at the older brother. If you're in the Cotton District and you need to grab a meal, you got 2 fantastic options right there. Two Brothers Smoked Meats and the older brother. Great products, great service. Every business likes to promise it to you. They deliver it to you at Advantage Business Systems. That's what they've been doing for 50 years.
50.
That finger isn't. That is.
Yeah.
That's a long phalange, my friend. Yeah, look at that thing. When you need a business technology, if you need a new copier, a new printer, if you need anything computer related for your business, you need to call Advantage Business Systems because they're going to take care of you not only with a great product at a great price, but with service after the sale that can't be beat. You don't want to have a problem where something's not working and they're telling you it's going to be a week to 10 days before they can get out there. Who can go on like that? You need a Mississippi business that can get to you within 24 hours. That's what Advantage Business Systems is going to provide. 601-362-9192 or visit them online, absms.com. Find out how Advantage Business Systems will help your business do business. Before you are at Duty Noble Field, before you are at Davis Wade Stadium, before you go to the hump, make sure you're headed to Maroon & Co. for your MSU gear. Nobody in Starkville with a bigger or better selection than Maroon & Co. They've got everything a Bulldog fan could need under one roof. And best of all, we're going to save you some money on your next purchase. Online or in store, use our promo code Thunder15 to save 15% off regular price. Some exclusions do apply. I don't know what the exclusions are, but apparently they apply. When they do, so be it. If they don't, enjoy the discount. Maroon & Co., the next time you're in Starkville, make sure you're headed to Maroon & Co. All right, Mississippi State baseball on the road. Only its second true road game of the season coming up. They've played at Southern Mississippi. They played at a neutral site tournament in Houston. Now they travel to play on the number 10 team in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners, in Norman for what's got to be the first time. I don't ever remember. I remember State playing Oklahoma. They played them in that tournament. They played them in a tournament a few years ago, but I don't know that they've ever been to Norman. State announced the rotation just a little bit ago before we started recording. No changes. Still Pico Khan, Ben Davis, Carson Ligon. I feel like sometimes people, the second week of the conference play, they're like, oh, there's still plenty of time. They got plenty of time. To host probably means they need to win 18 games, right? So that means they've got to go 15 and or they got to go 18 and 12 the rest of the way. No, that's not right. They got to go 18 and 9 the rest of the way. That means you have to win every series. If you get swept again, you're going to have to sweep like 3 series back on base.
I mean, there's a couple of series in there you could sweep.
There are, but that's still winning the series. You got to win every series the rest of the way. If you lose
but I'm saying like you could sweep a couple and lose a series.
You could. You have to sweep 2 if you lose another series. But by and large, that's the math is you got to win 2 out of your next 3 every weekend for the rest of the way. That seems like it's going to be very difficult if they don't do it this weekend. State needs to win this series. They need it in a very bad way. If they're 2-4 at the end of this, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
that's not a huge issue. If they're 0-6, that's going to be a problem.
Oh, you can't get swept. No, you can't get swept. I mean, then you're talking about can they make the tournament? Like that's like you're digging yourself in a hole there that you're going to have to fight your way out to make the tournament. Because you can't. I mean, you're going to need to get to 13 SEC wins. I think 14 for sure gets you in. Mm-hmm. But they just need to be playing better. And that's the very strange thing about it. I was talking to Chris Simonis about it the other night about how it wasn't like the sweeps that they had 2 years ago and the year before that. In those series, you're losing 20-3,
really bad, really
or whatever.
Bad. Yeah,
you're a couple of plays away. That's kind of the frustrating thing about it is they're finding ways to lose instead of finding ways to win. Texas found ways to win in that series. State found ways to lose. Texas got the big hits when State presented them those opportunities, and MSU didn't. I still don't think that this is a really bad team. I think that they have pieces in place. I like their pitching staff is like top 10 in the country. Look at ERA, strikeouts, things like that. I mean, they've been really productive, and that's kind of the frustrating thing about it is they're finding ways to screw up ball games. Offensively, they're finding ways to not come through with a big hit, and they have the bases loaded or whatever. So it's it's a weekend where they got to get right. I mean, they got to go find ways to win. And Oklahoma has found those ways to win. They're not. I was digging into their stats and all that stuff last night. You can go check it out on the website. I kind of broke it down. And their Friday night pitcher's really good. Mm-hmm. His twin brother pitches on Saturday, and the numbers are a significant drop off. And then on Sunday, they've been kind of a mess from a starting pitching standpoint. And then hitting-wise, not hitting a lot of home runs, not doing a lot of spectacular things, but they just find ways. They steal bases. They've been one of the top teams in the country in triples. So that's a team right now that's finding ways to win. They're not doing anything spectacular, but they're finding ways to win. Can State find a way to kind of even it out a little bit? Because State's doing some spectacular things from a numbers perspective in certain spots, but they're not finding ways to win against these really good teams. This weekend is a big opportunity, and like you said, I mean, if they get the win this weekend from a series win perspective, I feel like you're getting back on track. The next weekend, you'll have to go out and do the same thing. You'll need to go get another series win in Baton Rouge, which is going to be really tough. But that's kind of the thing that you're faced with right now if you're Mississippi State is you've got to make up some ground, and we'll see if they're able to do it. Yeah.
It's going to be a tough couple of weeks here with this and then the trip to Baton Rouge. You've got to find – you can't get swept in either series. If you're 2-7, there's a path to crawl out of that, but it'll be tough. But if you're 1-8 –
they've done that before. But
yeah. If you're 1-8 or God forbid 0-9, it's over. It is over. And I'm not talking about over for hosting at that point. I'm talking about it's going to be tough to get into the tournament at that point. Because,
no doubt.
I mean, it's just going to be near impossible. So they've got to find
one win in the next 2 weekends isn't going to cut it. I mean, you're going to have
they got to get to either. And look, they can get swept by LSU if they win this series, but
that's going to be tough in itself. You really need to go get a game there.
Yeah, I agree. But
this weekend, I feel like this weekend's a must win because it's the most winnable weekend out of the two.
Agreed. Got to find.
Yeah, I mean, while Oklahoma has been winning, they're still beatable. They're still a team that's beatable. And LSU is too, but they have more dudes, I feel like, than Oklahoma does.
Agreed. I definitely agree with that. All right. We'll recap everything on our next podcast. We'll either be talking about Mississippi State heading into the Sweet 16. We could be talking about Mississippi State and how they didn't get it done against Duke. We could be talking about Mississippi State and how they didn't get done against Baylor. We got a lot
It could be a pretty wild show. Who knows?
There's a chance that this could be one of the best shows we've ever had in terms of positivity. Could be like State is headed to the Sweet 16 and State sweeps Oklahoma, and what a great weekend. The science is in full effect today, by the way.
Yes, science is very much in play here.
Yes. Dr. Faulk has told us the science is in place, so we'll see.
I'm putting my lab coat on. I'm getting the spectacles out, and we'll see what happens.
All right.
My Bunsen burner.
Yeah,
I haven't spoken about that in years.
Well, there you go. All right. Talk to you guys later. Talk to you guys on Monday. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian Hadad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk, Mississippi.